people of Africa, you are welcome to Diaspora Connect on AAU TV. AAU TV is the voice of higher education in Africa. Today on Diaspora Connect, we are taking you to the agricultural side. So in Africa, we record a low agricultural productivity as a result of dependence on seasonality of rainfall, poor fertility of the soil, etc. Today I have with me Professor Andrew Manu. He is the George Washington Carver Endowed Chair and Professor in charge of Carver Scholarships. And we are discussing promoting transformative research in plant and soil sciences in Africa through Diaspora Networks. It's going to be a very interesting conversation because I already had interactions with him and I've been smiling all day. If you really want to know more about it, please stay with me. My name is Bridget Amadente. I'll be back shortly after this break and we will get started. You're welcome back from the break. This is still Diaspora Connect on AAU TV. AAU TV is the voice of higher education in Africa. You can follow us on Facebook, Association of African Universities, on YouTube, Association of African Universities. Do well to follow our Twitter and Instagram handles. You will see a lot of interactions over there and you'll definitely enjoy our channel. Today, I have the sole privilege of interviewing Professor Andrew Manu. As I said earlier, he is the George Washington Carver Endowed Chair and Professor in charge of Carver Scholarships. Prof, you're welcome.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Well, let me say that it's a humbling experience, actually, to be part of this diaspora initiative. I'm highly indebted to you for organizing this, for the kind invitation, and the honor to talk about my professional activities. COVID-19 is keeping us apart, but thanks to technology, we are talking to each other from 5,000 miles away.
I know, right? Yeah, thanks to technology, I mean, we're able to do everything, just that it's not in person, but we still appreciate it. We still appreciate it. Okay, so moving on into today's conversation, we want to know about George Washington Carver and his works.
Okay, George, and I don't try to talk about George in an hour does not do justice to who this man is. Okay. But at least I'm going to create a platform for us to reflect on this one man's persistence, ingenuity, curiosity, and selflessness to provide a rich past, a comfortable present, and what I foresee to be an enriched standing for Black people all over the world. George was born a slave in Missouri, in a small town called Diamond. Okay. He lost his parents in his early life and was raised by the slave master. You think about it, the trauma of being an orphan left him frail with whooping cough. But this is not dim his desire for education. At age 10, he absconded with a caravan to move from Missouri to Kansas in his quest for education. Okay. Well, he was not accepted in any institution because he was a Negro. Actually, when he went to Kansas, he fled because one evening he witnessed a lynching of a Black man. He was so distraught that he took off. I better run for my life. So he came to Iowa. Now, at that time, when people were thinking in black and white, the Iowans were just operating in a kind of a gray zone because they accepted him. So he started school at a town called Indianola, which is very close to Des Moines, and he was admitted into Simpson College. Now, one thing he said when he went to Simpson College, and I'm going to quote, he said, "The kind people at Simpson College make me feel, believe that I'm a human being." Oh. Because all along, he'd been minimized. So this was some kind of a transformation for him.
Yeah.
Well, he started to study art. But and he's a great artist. If you see some of his paintings, they are unbelievable.
Wow.
But somebody told him and says, "Man, you are wasting talent." So this is what a lady called Eta Bud.
Okay.
So he said, "Well, why don't I take you to my father, who's a professor at Iowa State College of Mechanics Arts." At that time, that was what it was called.
Okay.
And he studied botany. Well, it wasn't all that smooth for him, even at Iowa State. He was not allowed to eat at the cafeteria because he was Black. He had to eat at the back. But Itabad challenged this. Eventually, he became the friend of the father. And in 1894, this first African American got a degree.
Wow.
At Iowa.
Wow.
Short years later, he obtained a master's degree and started working as a richest, again, as a trailblazer.
Yeah.
He was also asked to join the faculty at Iowa State in the 1890s. That is unusual.
Yes, very unusual.
Yes. But as he was doing all this, I think people were realizing because his name was getting around. So Dr. Booker T. Washington, who had then established a school for Blacks in Tuskegee, Alabama, invited him to come help him. Well, he was ridiculed a lot that you have everything here. You have a lab. You are doing everything. Why do you want to leave to go to Alabama? But he was not moved by bigness. He was moved by his passion to be useful to the Black race. So he heeded a call and went to Tuskegee, Alabama, and he became a role model for these young people who was there. He was teaching, and his dedication to students was very, very inspirational because he go to the garbage and collect artifacts to make lab equipment on his research. So eventually, he trained so many people, and some of his students became prominent instructors. And that is where this HBCU thing is born.
Okay.
But in terms of research, he got associated with peanuts or groundnuts. But he is going to just tell you about the dialogue he had with God before he got into this groundnut deal.
Okay.
So he was one day meditating, and he talked to God and says, "Dear Creator, please tell me what the universe was made for." And the great creator answered, "You want to know too much for the little mind of yours. Ask for something more your size." George thought about it and he says, "Then, dear Creator, tell me what man was made for." And the great Creator replied, "Little man, till you are asking too much. Still. And improve the extent." Then George asked, "Dear Mr. Creator, then can you tell me why peanut or groundnut was made?" That's what started this whole peanut man that we think about.
Oh.
Well, he did a lot of work on peanut. He had 300 uses for peanuts or groundnuts for its nutritional and medicinal values. It is interesting to note that some of his inventions then are still being used by NASA in the space agriculture.
Wow.
The sweet program is being used by NASA on the space program. But in all these, madam, he never patented any of his inventions because in his own words, he says, God gave them to me. How can I sell them to someone?
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to end on this George thing by just reading what is on his epitaph I saw at our Tuskegee campus.
Okay. Okay.
He said, he could have added fortune to fame, but caring for neither of these, he found happiness and honor in being helpful to the world.
Mm. Wow. 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 This history, I mean, the mere fact that he didn't patent any of the things he did is just mind blowing because he could have gotten a lot out of it. And that is what is selling now. So I mean, you respect him for that.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And when he died, he had about $41,000. He donated everything to the college, Tuskegee Institute, for work to be done.
Oh.
That is.
Okay. Okay. All right. So his work in agronomy has influenced research in historically Black universities in Africa. How has it developed over time?
Well, I think I'm going to talk about for the past maybe several years.
Okay.
HBCUs have been working with African universities to promote academic excellence through research, innovation, human intellectual capacity building.
Okay.
Which down the line will scale up learning spaces in African universities.
Okay.
Permit me to cite the efforts of two of these institutions. And again, I'll talk about Tuskegee Institute and Alabama A&M University.
Okay.
Alabama A&M University, I was intimately involved in it because I was there for 5.5 years.
Oh, okay.
But we've been creating all this bonding, and I used to come to Ghana quite a bit because of the collaboration we have with University of Ghana.
Okay.
Now, as recently as July 2020, Mr. Kwabena Boateng, I'm sure founder and president of African Diaspora Nation, convened the HBCU Africa Homecoming Initiative.
Okay.
This event that attracted over 1,200 participants had an outcome of to promote vital linkages between HBCU institutions and the African diaspora education communities. Okay. Surely, as George Washington Carver said, where there's no vision, there's no hope. I'm excited that this Mr. Kwabena Boateng has this vision. So I'm sure there's hope that this collaboration work with African universities. Okay. The only thing I just want to ask is that they should implicate the predominantly white institutions in this effort, because that will have a lot, make it work a lot.
Okay, okay. So now we are moving from George to you, Prof. I would like to know, as a professor in charge of Carver Scholarships and the academy, what transformative research, collaborations have been able to come up as a result of the chair you currently sit in?
Okay. Well, let me just give you a little history of how
Please do.
The George Washington Carver Endowed Chair was where I started. Okay. It was created by the state of Iowa and Iowa State University in honor of George, this genius, to ensure that students, faculty, and staff are treated with respect, dignity, encouragement, irrespective of their ethnicity, religion, gender, country of origin, or any other historically discriminating feature. But they knew what they went through, and they didn't want anybody to go through that again.
Yeah.
So I'm really highly honored and grateful to my university president, Dr. Wendy Winterstein. She was then the Dean of the College of Ag and Sciences, and my department chair, Dr. Kendall Lamke, for selecting me as the first George Washington Carver Endowed Chair.
Wow, you're the first. Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But I'm using this position in furtherance of the excellence in teaching of soil science, which are considered the world's most important natural resource base. No matter what you do, soil is the king.
Of course, of course.
Also carry out high impact research in agronomy in the US and internationally, and also provide service to the university, which is one of me serving as the George Washington Carver professor in charge.
Okay.
Through this academy, every year we admit 100 students for free tuition. They awarded free tuition for 4 years to get, and they should be ethnic minorities.
Okay.
They are here to study for 4 years. They have 8 semesters to graduate. Now, I'm glad to say that about 5% every year of the students who come here, as I go through the list, have native African roots.
Wow.
Others, yes, in the state or something, but it's been really transformative in terms of what the students are doing. And I was watching TV, the SpaceX program. There was a man who graduated from our program and is working on the SpaceX program and the spacecraft that went up with Mr. Musk Elon, yes. He was part of that process. As professor in charge, I serve as a chair council of faculties from each of the colleges. And we are here to mentor the students and guide them along their academic journey. Now, let me also tell you about the transformative research and the teaching.
Yes.
This position allows me to teach, do research, and also do some service obligations to the community.
Okay.
I've been teaching fundamentals of soil science in this institute for the last 20 years. Wow. To date, I have taught 11,000 students.
Wow.
11,000 students. And the reason why I could teach this many students is that I've been using an innovative computer-assisted student-centered learning approach.
Okay.
I'm telling people that COVID came and they say everybody should do online classes.
Yeah.
I said, what is new about it? I've been doing it for 20 years.
Wow.
I've been doing this for 20 years. I only met my students once a semester. They were doing all their work online. I have a workbook that I developed for them. Actually, there's one here that they have to take that thing. They study on their own. They study where they want, how they want. All I want you to do the assessment and pass. If you have a question, I have a teaching lab. You come in there, and I'm there to meet you. So this is where you put the students in charge of their own learning. So 20 years ago, we had a premonition that COVID pandemic could come, but we were ahead of the curve in preparing against it.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to developing a course like this in collaboration with my counterparts in Africa as part of this agricultural curriculum that specifically addresses African agricultural environmental issues.
Wow.
Research. I've lived in the Sahel. I lived in Niger for 7 years.
Okay.
Now doing research on environmental pathology. I can restitute some of these degraded lands, urban soils, and also remote sensing. I have a lot of extension bulletins for smallholder farmers for the Sahelian West Africa. And I've done a lot of sustainable land management. But, as time evolves, you evolve too.
Yes,
So for the first 5 years, I have developed what I call the Low Altitude Remote Sensing Initiative. What is it? The name sounds complicated. All it is taking drones in agriculture. And so I set up a center here with students, with technicians and all that. And the center for last 3, Low Ultimate Remote Sensing Research Initiative. Now, all that I'm doing is to advance the drone technology in small scale agriculture. I had a grant through USAID as part of the Feed the Future initiative. I was able to work in the northern part of Ghana, where we developed drone-based methodologies to forecast and also map rice yields.
Okay.
Yes. Locally in the US, now if you like wine, you'll be my friend, because I'm investigating the relationship between soil chemistry and this cold hardy grapes that we have here, as well as, and also as wine quality, using the drone technology and proximal remote sensing. Yes, for service, I told you already.
Yes.
I do. Yes.
And I was even about to ask, you have experienced the 2 cultures. You've experienced the American culture. You've experienced the African culture. I was wondering, what would you think draws Africa back in terms of research? But I mean, your work in the northern region of Ghana, developing the drone sensors, means that it is technology. It is technology. But how can your office be of assistance to the continent in this regard?
Great. Thanks for the question. I think Africa has 4 main constraints to agricultural development.
Okay.
It pushes us back, but we don't have to lay down.
No.
We got to. These are inadequate policies.
Okay.
Because we don't have any government policy pushing the agricultural technology. We have weak organizational and management. We don't. We have a hard time managing. We are trying, but it's not to snuff as to what they have here. And of course, insufficient financial, human, and physical resources has always plagued our success, and poor collaboration and coordination. Now, the George Washington Carver position I hold now does not have a direct mandate supporting activities that will alleviate some of these problems. However, Iowa State as an institution has been engaged in international research for years in many African countries, and Ghana is one.
Okay.
But through effective collaboration with the university as a whole, some of these constraints like organization and management, as far as also as human capacity, which I'll talk about later, can also be addressed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But what formal partnerships? You mentioned that you've worked with the University of Ghana. Aside the University of Ghana, what other formal partnerships do you have with Africa?
Okay, now I'm going to frame this in terms of thinking about what as a diaspora that we do.
Okay.
Because I can talk on a personal scale.
Yes.
And on the personal scale, I had a blessing of serving as major advisors or thesis advisors to students from Ghana Kenya, Uganda, and South Africa, from they came to school here. Now, again, with the grant that I have from USAID as part of the Feed the Future initiative, I co-advised 2 master's level students from University for Development Studies at Tamale on the Young campus.
Okay.
So all that I did with them was to introduce them to the drones for yield forecasting, and also trying to map this because we need that kind of data. Yes. If I can generate the data before the season is even over, the government can make decisions whether we are going to have excess rice or we are going to have less. If we are going to have less, we start making arrangements as to how we're going to get some in here. Now, if we are going to get more, then we put up structures to be able to store. So that is a contribution. It wasn't any formal arrangement. It was just talking to the schools and getting things done.
Okay.
So right now, I'm sitting on a fellowship as part of the Carnegie African Diaspora Fellowship Program.
Wow.
I work with a former graduate student. He got his PhD under me. He's now a lecturer at Tamale, to use these drones to support farming in Africa.
Okay.
The project is on hold now.
Okay.
When the COVID relents a little bit, we will use this as a training platform for Ghanaian graduate students.
Okay. Okay.
On a broader engagement, in terms of diaspora and the connections, I benefited from Iowa State's commitment to inclusion and diversity, and also the benevolence of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to establish what we call then the African Association of African Agricultural Professionals in the Diaspora.
Wow.
AAPD.
Okay.
Yes. It was headquartered at Iowa State, and I was the president of this association for 7 years. What is our goal then? The goal was to leverage and harness the network of African agriculturals in the diaspora in support of agricultural activities on the big continent.
Yes.
What are some of the things that we wanted to do? Provision of technical services, knowledge exchange, that could help the small farmers, small scale farmers, and also improve the quality of life for me and you, especially for children and women.
Wow.
And I get excited in the morning knowing that we are establishing professional mentoring like sabbatical and professional development programs in Africa.
Yeah.
I'm glad to say that the association is defunct right now, but we push the cause of the African smallholder farmer, because every year we had a function at the annual World Food Prize program in West Des Moines, which is the Nobel Prize for agriculture in the world. And we participated on that. I'm hoping that the enthusiasm that we have to initiate this association, although it's now kind of latent, but I'm sure it can be reignited for us to get on the goal and tell it on the mountain that APD is still alive.
Exactly. Okay, Prof, we are going on a quick break. When we come back, we'll go into what lessons can be drawn from America in terms of irrigation, soil testing, and collaboration between universities and then other institutions. Viewers, I know you're enjoying the conversation just as I am, because George Washington received freely and he gave freely without any patent. And Prof here has been the president of AAPD for 7 years. He has a lot of insight. Please stay with me. I'll be back shortly. You're welcome back from the break. This is still Diaspora Connect. Today, I have Professor Andrew Manu, and then we are discussing a whole lot on agriculture. Prof, please, let's continue. From the last statement, I'm wondering what lessons can be drawn from America, from the US, from the developed countries in terms of irrigation, soil testing, and even collaboration between universities, research institutions, and the farmers as well, because they are on the land, tilling the land, planting and harvesting and everything. What kind of lessons can be drawn from America in terms of this?
Okay. Please, let me pivot a little bit on this question.
Pivot. Take us higher.
From what Africa provide, and then provide a statement of facts. And then from the statement of facts, I'll make some suggestions as to address what you are talking about. But I'm going to start with the facts first.
Okay.
According to the World Bank, by far the most fundamental characteristic of African agriculture is the fact that 200 million smallholder farmers account for more than 90% of the continent's agricultural production, which is very different from here.
Yeah.
Because I live in a state of about 2.5 million people. I think we produce more corn than half of Africa. Yes. Yeah. And it's not dominated by older people. It's dominated by the young. They leave Iowa State and they go farming. So, but in Africa, on the other hand, 60% of the population is below 35. But unfortunately, the youth perceive agriculture as unattractive.
Yes.
Yes. In its present form, it is unattractive.
Yes.
So again, we need to go tell it on the mountain and even in the valleys that farming can be cool. If you are a young man watching this interview, I tell you that farming can be cooler than Nike's sneakers and iPhones. You think about it. If I'm in farming, I can get enough money to buy as many Nikes as I want and iPhones as I want, dude. This is what I think farming should be considered as a cool thing. This is what Africa needs, the enthusiasm for the youth to know that by doing farming, you can be a Bill Gates, you can be Elon Musk, you can be the guy at Amazon by just putting your nose to the grind and making sure you get your hands dirty. Now, can I make some suggestions then?
Yes, please.
We can start from the grassroots by encouraging these young people to treat agriculture as an added value to science. We go to school and most of us take biology, chemistry, engineering, computer science. But here, the Americans do the same thing. But they use these basic sciences to focus on ideas that will impact food production and security.
Okay.
With basic health, ecosystem services, and environmental integrity. I see these young men and women here as good at it. I brought a student to Ghana because I used to run a travel course to Ghana. And Andrew Phillips, in our talking on, I think we went to Cape Coast and we bought some wine, and the wine was made in South Africa.
Okay.
It was good. So he says, boy, we have some land back home. I think I'm going to talk to my parents. He did. He came here and he had 6 acres of vineyard. And this vineyard is producing wine to the extent that it's his hobby, but he's making so much money.
Wow.
This is where the creativity comes in.
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah.
A second point, we have reached a level that we cannot let the youth use the same kind of practices for agriculture, they will run away.
Yes.
We have to provide them with the practical skills and access to new technologies, land equipment, up-to-date agricultural drones, and all the finances they need to transition from this subsistence agriculture that we have to a higher paying enterprise. Yes, it's interesting. It has to be a value chain thing. In the general agricultural community, this is what I can say. We can support technology transfer from research labs, from universities to the rural areas. That will enhance agricultural science, innovation, and technology. Because there's a disconnect between what we do on the research station and what the farmers do. My sisters and brothers they are still using the hoe and breaking their backs. Why can they get excited? Until we do that, we cannot boost that high standard of living like we have in the industrialized world. Even if we want to make that leap, we can equally benefit from smallholder farmers, rural women, entrepreneurs, by supporting them with technologies. Now you talk about all this irrigation and things. We need cultivators first. We need harvesters. We need planters. We need seeders. We need water pumps. We need solar energy. If these are made available, I don't think people will migrate to Kumasi to go and sell dog chains. They will find themselves so rich doing agriculture that they will not go there. And so when I think about it, I'm thinking of our women, children. These are we can do to make agriculture
attractive. Yes. Because I personally am very interested in fish farming. I just see it and I'm like, no, this is something I really want to do. But I think about all the things I have to do fiscally, and I'm like, nah, maybe I'll try it later in life.
Yes. It's hard.
Yes.
It's hard. I can minimize it. It's really hard. But when I see these people, what they do here, agriculture is fun. Because I never, when I go to their homes on the farm, nicer than the best house you have at Tesako. Yes, you think about it. They have everything they need on the farm. Okay. We didn't just stay there. Yes. But I think Africa can get there.
Yes, we can.
And having this the will to do
it. We can. Okay, my last but one question is, how are Africans in the diaspora, helping to build home, giving back to their home countries through research? How are we doing this to ensure that we're also rising up there in the agricultural sense?
I think the diaspora can come in so many directions.
Okay.
They could act as a bridge, they can become a bridge link between the governments and the African research and teaching institutions. Because if I came to the Ministry of Agriculture, I don't know who's going to be the Minister of Agriculture now, but I'm always looking for the opportunity to come and say, hey, this is what we can do in terms of coming short-term training, in terms of maybe bringing your students here, which, thank God, our president supports, our department chairs support. So this is what some of the things we can do. Number two, we can play a catalytic role in agricultural development. We can teach.
Yes.
We can identify and execute technologies, right?
Yes.
That is those are the things that we can do. So good. Now, the other thing also, we can provide training to our farmers. You were saying that AAPD, we're going to go and stay with farmers every 1 month in our countries to work with farmers. I think we can do a lot.
Yes.
And lastly, I've seen diasporans who are investing in farms in Ghana. The only problem is that they are absentee farmers, and it does not work out right. But we can contribute by serving as landowners and use the land efficiently.
Okay. I have noted those points down because they are very important notes you don't get every day. So if I've gotten it today, I really appreciate it. Yeah. Prof, I'd like to know your final words, your words of advice to the government, other stakeholders, other universities, so they can all come together to build a better Africa in terms of agriculture and agribusiness.
Thanks for the question. I can say that Africa is at a turning point as far as the agricultural development is concerned. The Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, they've worked very, very hard to put the smallholder farmer in the center of Africa's agricultural economy.
Okay.
At the beginning, it looked like an unsurmountable task. We haven't done it well yet, but we make progress. We are getting there. Well, it worked to a degree, but we have not quite the level of economy that we are looking at from the West. We are looking at the promised land from afar. There's a valley we need to cross to the promised land. What can this diaspora do? I can equate the life of George Washington Carver going back to the South, from the Midwest to as a diaspora experience for us. Because to him, going from the South to the Midwest was like me going from here to Ghana again.
Wow.
Okay. He used his persistence, again, his curiosity, selflessness, to transform the peanut industry to a $200 million enterprise in 1930. In 1930, not too shabby.
Yeah.
And we see that, yes, we can.
Yeah.
As for final thing, I just want to make a plea that I request all my diaspora friends to join forces with the government, local administration, district administration, academic institutions, and our untiring and resilient smallholder farmers to bring agricultural production to the next level.
Yeah.
And in so doing, we should try to attract a new cadre of young, energetic, digital natives to adopt technologies like drones in value chains, raise productivity, and meet the rising food need of Africa. But my last statement here is whether it is through our research, teaching, extension of financial investments, these are values that can create wealth and prosperity in Africa. But I cannot end any speech in this world without repeating one of George's famous quotes. And he says, no individual has any right to come into the world and go out without leaving something behind him. Distinct and legitimate reasons for having passed through it. What is saying? This is my conviction. This is my hope. And I thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you too. Thank you too so much. Thank you very much for making time, sharing all these deep knowledge with us. I mean, everyone elsewhere watching this today has really learned a lot, because I have taken my share and I'm going to consider doing fish farming. Definitely, I'm going to do it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying tuned. And Prof, what I have taken from here is we can teach and execute agriculture with technology, and then diaspora and engagement in agric will also encourage the youth to also venture into agric and do agribusiness. There's a lot going on in agric.
Thank you so much for watching Diaspora Connects today. I know you've enjoyed the conversation as thoroughly as I have today, and you will put into practice everything Prof has told us today. My name is Bridget Amadente. Keep watching AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.